After a violent Friday night in Auburn, we have the identity of the man killed in a two-victim shooting. A rescue is made in Blount County, the sheriff's office finding nearly 40 dogs suffering from abuse and neglect on one property. And cleanup efforts underway in Walker County after last week's storms. One describes what it was like leading up to the severe weather.
Live, streaming, and on the ABC 3340 app. This is ABC 3340 News Weekend.
Good evening, I'm Austin Pratt. Welcome to the news at 6. We're monitoring cleanup efforts after last Saturday's severe storms that carved a path of destruction through parts of central Alabama. Now, fire departments and law enforcement are working to clear debris along Sipsey Road. This is what the Sipsey community looks like a week after the storms. And here's what it looked like Saturday after an EF2 tornado through Walker County. Sipsey resident Sharon describes learning about the danger heading her way.
We were all sitting around watching the weather and that, and next thing we know, my granddaughter's Facebook page was lighting up, beeping and just going crazy.
We have complete coverage of the severe storm aftermath on abc3340.com. Just scan the QR code on your screen to go there now. Mostly sunny across central Alabama today, but will the spring-like conditions hold? Meteorologist Riley Blackwell is here. Riley, what can we expect?
Yeah, definitely a lot warmer than the past 2 days, and it is dry and breezy, and we're expecting that through the rest of the afternoon today, as well as parts of Sunday, but of course we'll get to the changes in just a bit. High pressure just to our north, and temperatures have been fairly mild, mainly in the upper 60s and lower to middle 70s. We have 71 Birmingham, Alabaster, 76 down in Utah, 73 Tuscaloosa, 60s for Coleman, Haleyville, and Gadsden right now. But dew points are very low, so we can be concerned about a little bit of a fire danger out there right now. Hardly any moisture in the atmosphere right now, so fires can quickly ignite and quickly spread. And winds are a little bit elevated as well. 10 miles per hour for Gadsden, Birmingham, 8 in Alabaster, 9 Pell City and Anniston, 7 in Sylacauga. Now most of Sunday will be calm, but Sunday night into Monday we could have some strong to even severe storms. All that in the full 7-day coming up.
The Birmingham Police Department is asking for your help finding this man. 70-year-old Gary Freeman was last seen in February in the East Brownville neighborhood. Freeman has a medical condition that affects his actions and decision-making. If you have any information, please call the Birmingham Police Department. We now know the identity of a man shot and killed in Birmingham last night. According to the Jefferson County Coroner's Office, 36-year-old Curtis Holt Jr. was shot and killed just after 8 p.m. He was one of 2 people shot. Another man was shot and sent to UAB for treatment. There's no word on his condition. Investigators say a family member of the man shot both of them and ran from the scene. One person is in custody. A suspect is being held at the Birmingham City Jail. Another heavy police presence in Birmingham last night. This is on Lotta Avenue near Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in the North Titusville community. BP has not yet released details on the situation. We have reached out to them for information and will bring you updates online and on air as they become available. 2 suspects have been identified in connection to a murder robbery on 3rd Avenue West 2 days ago. Birmingham police officers arrested 24-year-old Taylor Ball and 35-year-old Anthony Lewis Sr. Both are charged with robbery first degree, criminal mischief second, and illegal possession of a firearm. Lewis is also charged with attempted murder. They are being held in the Jefferson County Jail without bond. BPD has also announced arrests in connection to a kidnapping and robbery Thursday. 19-year-old Keontae Richardson and 22-year-old Justin Jenkins are accused of robbing a man at gunpoint, kidnapping him, and forcing him to take money out of an ATM, both charged with robbery first degree. Jenkins also charged with kidnapping and burglary first degree. Both suspects are being held without bond in the Jefferson County Jail. ABC 3340 spoke one-on-one with Attorney General Steve Marshall. We discussed a number of topics with the AG, including a potential run for governor.
Yeah, I announced several months ago that governor just wasn't something that I thought that I wanted to do. Wasn't aspirational for me, nor where I felt like I could serve the people of this state. To the extent that there is another opening available, if Senator Tuberville does look at going at the governor's office, I'll take a look at the Senate and we'll make a decision fairly quickly.
Attorney General Marshall also discussed with us his recent filing in defense of President Trump's move to fly gang members, in particular Tren de Aragua members, to El Salvador against a federal judge's orders. You can read more on that online at abc3340.com. This week, we crossed the halfway point of the 2025 legislative session. There are 30 days in a session that lawmakers can meet and vote on bills in their chambers. Wednesday was day 15. ABC 3340's Aaron Wise has a breakdown of the bills that have made it through the House, Senate, and were signed by the governor.
16 bills have been approved by the Alabama House of Representatives and Alabama Senate. Many of them already have the governor's signature. Of those 16, 6 are local bills impacting certain cities or counties. Of the statewide bills passed, Alabama lawmakers approved the restructuring of the leadership at the Alabama Department of Veterans Affairs. The commissioner of the ADVA is now a cabinet-level position in the governor's office. The state board is also shifted to an oversight role instead of approving specific decisions like department policy. Many veterans spoke out against the legislation at the state house. However, several large veterans organizations ended up supporting the change. Earlier in the session, the governor signed off on a bill establishing the Alabama Veterans Resource Center. The legislation creates the board of directors for the center, identifies their duties and powers, and authorizes them to enter into public-private partnerships to create the center. The center itself would be a one-stop shop for veterans resources, which will be located in Montgomery. The center would also be able to refer veterans to other resources. The initial funding request is $5 million with the expectation that public-private partnership would fund the rest. Other bills that have made it through the process include the What is a Woman Act, which defines sex-based terms in state law, the state Glock switch ban, and a bill allowing local sheriffs or police chiefs to contract with non-public schools to provide school resource officers. Here's what the Speaker of the House, Nathaniel Ledbetter, had to say about what's ahead.
We just got the PBM bill in the basket. We'll be looking at that and kind of going over it and see. I don't know if we'll sit on the floor next week. We'll have to do a lot of work. Members got to educate themselves on what is in it and what the Senate's done with it, so we'll see that. I don't think there's anything heavy lift probably besides looking at that. We will probably be looking at the Alpha Health Insurance Plan.
Lawmakers are off next week and won't return until April 1st. In the studio, I'm Aaron Wise.
An update in a bank robbery investigation in Birmingham. Police have named a suspect in the case. An arrest warrant for robbery was issued for 41-year-old Jeremy Dumas. Police say the suspect walked into Wells Fargo on 18th Street South Thursday and handed a teller a note demanding money. Police attribute the breakthrough to people sending information through Crime Stoppers. Birmingham police arrest 2 suspects in an illegal dumping investigation. 47-year-old Torrance Nelson Jr. and 62-year-old Benny Armstrong Jr. are charged with criminal littering. Police say Monday, 2 people dumped debris on 24th Street North. This is the security camera footage that caught the act. Both were taken into custody. In Chilton County, deputies are investigating a burglary and vandalism at the Chilton County Motorsports Park. Authorities say a building and a golf cart were damaged during the incident Thursday night. Investigators are asking anyone with information to come forward. Now to the latest on that standoff between President Trump and a federal judge over the deportation of more than 200 Venezuelans. The president used the Alien Enemies Act to deport them, and Friday a hearing by the judge was held about it. Now there's word of another deportation. ABC's Selena Wang tells us more.
The Trump administration says it sent a new group of migrants to Guantanamo Bay this week, An administration official claiming many are members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, but they gave no evidence for how they determined the migrants are connected to the gang. The official added that deportation flights continue every day. It comes as a federal judge demands answers about the deportation of more than 200 Venezuelan migrants to a prison in El Salvador. The president using the Alien Enemies Act, an 18th century wartime law that allows the government to deport people with little or no due process. An attorney for Jersey Reyes Barrios, a professional soccer player from Venezuela, says he was deported and accused of being a gang member because of his tattoos. The lawyer says they're a tribute to his favorite soccer team, not gang tattoos. On Friday, U.S. District Judge James Boasberg called President Trump's use of the law incredibly troublesome, adding his administration's arguments about the extent of presidential powers was awfully frightening. Why is this proclamation essentially signed in the dark on Friday night or early Saturday morning, and then these people rushed on the planes? To me, the only reason to do that is if you know it's a problem and you want to get them out of the country before a suit is filed. Near a week after the deportations, the president appeared to distance himself, claiming he never signed the order, even though it bears his signature.
I don't know when it was signed because I didn't sign it. Other people handled it.
The president continuing to lash out at Judge Boasberg.
You can't stop that with a judge sitting behind a bench that has no idea what goes on, who happens to be a radical left lunatic.
It comes as his administration ramps up its fight with universities over pro-Palestinian protests, anti-Israel protests, and concerns about anti-Semitism on campus. Columbia University appears to have ceded to its demands after a threat to withhold $400 million in federal funds, agreeing to ban masks on campus and place stricter controls over its Middle East Studies department. Selena Wang, ABC News, Washington.
We need to stand strong. We need to come together. So please help us to heal and join me in my thoughts and prayers for the families and those lives that have been lost.
A mass shooting in Las Cruces, New Mexico Friday night leaves 3 people dead and 15 more injured. 2 19-year-old men and a 16-year-old boy were killed after a fight between 2 groups at an unsanctioned car show, according to the Las Cruces Police Department. No arrests have been made at this time. Overnight, we learned boxing legend George Foreman is dead at the age of 76. Foreman began his boxing career as an Olympic gold medalist, first reaching the peak of the heavyweight division after beating Joe Frazier in 1973. While he did lose to Muhammad Ali the following year, Foreman was able to reclaim the title 20 years later at the age of 45, becoming the oldest man to do so. Outside of boxing, he was also known for pitching the widespread countertop grill. The Vatican says Pope Francis will make his first public appearance tomorrow since being hospitalized for respiratory issues last month. The Pope's doctors say the 88-year-old has made progress, but will have to continue recovery at the Vatican. The Pope is scheduled to return to the Holy See after offering a prayer from the window of his hospital suite tomorrow. Coming up, nearly 40 dogs rescued from a property in Blount County after suffering extreme neglect and abuse. And next in sports, the Crimson Tide previews St. Mary's, their upcoming opponent this Sunday, how their contrasting styles make for a compelling second-round game. And a sunny and mild day across central Alabama, but what does the rest of the weekend hold going into next week? Find out coming up in your full Weather Authority forecast. Now, we do want to warn you, some viewers may find this story disturbing. Blount County Sheriff's deputies were called to a home for reports of loose dogs and animal abuse. Deputies saw 10 to 15 dogs running freely on the property and more in cages. In total, deputies found 25 dogs inside the property. Almost every animal was suffering from mange and malnutrition, and several had to be euthanized due to their injuries. In total, deputies say 43 dogs were removed. Alabama's future hub for agriculture is one step closer to reality. The Alabama Exhibition Center Corporation has finalized its purchase of 500 acres, the site of the Alabama Farm Center at Hallmark Farm, to be located along I-65 at exit 280 in Warrior. The real estate contract was signed in 2023, but a due diligence period was underway until this week. The project, backed by Alpha Insurance and the Alabama Farmers Federation, is expected to be a game changer for the state's agriculture industry. Leaders say the closing clears the way for fundraising and construction. A major new housing development could soon be coming to Chelsea. It would be a gated rental home community off of Highway 11 featuring 284 single-family homes. City leaders are considering rezoning the land along Highway 11 from agricultural to planned residential development. The homes would rent for $2,500 to $3,000 per month. Renters would need a high credit score and a minimum annual income of $100,000. Chelsea residents voiced their concerns about the proposed rental community directly to the City Council Tuesday.
I've seen these developments come along, and that's number one. Then you have an impact on the schools. Then you have an impact on the roads. Then you have another rental community. Then you have another store. And then you go from one thing to another. I'm not sure you can stop these things around here, but you see a rural community become a suburb of Houston.
A final vote on the rezoning is set for April 1st, where the future of this project will be decided by the City Council. If approved for development, this would be a $90 to $120 million project coming to the city of Chelsea.
Now, the ABC 3340 Sports Report with Jamie Hale.
You get to see teams like Alabama, teams you see in the rankings all the time, and like an opportunity to play against those type of teams, and we have that opportunity tomorrow.
Everybody acts like it's going to be a battle of tempos. You know, outside of gambling, and I'm not sure that I want to start pressing gambling. That's not really our style on defense. You may not be able to speed these guys up on their offensive end.
Randy Bennett and Nate Oates ahead of their second round action tomorrow in the NCAA tournament. The Tide haven't played a team like the Gales, who love to slow things down. They play at one of the slowest paces in the entire country, which is completely different from Alabama style.
Yeah, you know, we like to get up and then go fast, you know, especially off misses, and when they're making shots, you know, we want to get it out the net and go fast. They're welcoming to play late in the shot clock, and they're just going to bet on their bigs just to get the rebound and then just reset the shot clock and do it over again. But, you know, we just got to do what we do and continue to push the pace, no matter if it's a miss or make.
Not letting them get offensive rebounds, that's a huge strength of theirs. And I feel like when they crash and get old boards, that helps them cater the game to their pace more than what we want to play like. So we just got to make sure we get rebounds on the defensive end so we can get an opportunity to push in transition.
A berth to the Sweet 16 is on the line in Lexington. Creighton and Auburn's second round matchup is about to be underway. We'll hear from the Auburn Tigers tonight at 10. John Calipari and Arkansas take legendary coaches back-to-back in Cal's first year with the Razorbacks. 10-seed Arkansas beats 2-seed St. John 75-66 to advance to the Sweet 16. Alabama women's basketball took care of business in their first-round game against Green Bay. Aaliyah Nye led all scores with 23, helping the Tide win 81-67.
To have near 5 in double figures, the way we rebounded the ball, the way we took hits all day long. We're fortunate to get to the free throw line down the stretch. We're fortunate to get them inside the essence. But I cannot be more proud of our execution on both sides of the ball and the game plan. Really proud, because it is hard to win this time of year.
Alabama will play Maryland in the second round on Monday. Well, things got heated on the Diamond today in Tuscaloosa. Check out Alabama head baseball coach Rob Vaughn going off on the ump He eventually got tossed, and Tennessee went on to clinch the weekend series with a 9-2 win. Last night, it was Auburn with the late inning dramatics. Today, it was Kentucky, the Cats with a 4-run ninth, and they forced extras. But that's where Ike Irish hit the game-winning home run to give Auburn its 8th straight series win and improve to 4-1 in the SEC. Let's check on that weather, Riley.
Yeah, not a lot of March mayhem in the forecast for today and most of tomorrow. We've been under a case of severe clear with high pressure just off to our north. But of course, all good things must come to an end. Looking ahead to tomorrow, mainly tomorrow night into early Monday morning, we have a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk for severe storms. This is really not going to be a very high impact event by any means. Now, I do want to mention 2 parts of Lamar and Marion County are in a 2 out of 5 slight risk, but once again, not a very high impact event by any means. But we're likely going to see rain arriving in the state sometime around 8 or 9 o'clock. That window could open up a little bit earlier. This is the newest model run coming in, speeding it up a little bit from what we've been talking about the past couple of days. But of course, any of these storms in this broken line could bring gusty winds, small hail, and the chance for frequent lightning. We can't really say the tornado threat is 0, especially this time of year, but the tornado threat is extremely low. And by about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, most of the heavier stuff will start to move out. The air too stable further down to the south and east to Birmingham. Even though showers could persist into that morning commute, widespread shower activity will not be expected. And the biggest limiting factor with tomorrow's system, as opposed to what we had last week, is the lack of surface-based instability. There will be some for these storms to tap into, but overall, not enough to produce anything significant. So a few storms producing gusty winds, small hail, and frequent lightning, and likely that will be the extent of all of our threats. But of course, gusty winds could cause some very limited damage. So that's something to keep an eye on for as well. But another good thing about this particular system, it will be a prolific rainmaker, especially those west of I-65, anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rain possible. But the further east you go, that line really starts to fall apart. So those rainfall totals really start to go down. But overnight tonight, clouds will be on the increase and temperatures rising in the afternoon or the overnight hours, and tomorrow afternoon, overnight lows in the low to middle 40s. Some places could be nearing 50 for their overnight lows. But tomorrow, a lot of us could be nearing or even exceeding 80. Morning rain and storms, though, by Monday will give way to mostly sunny this week. Highs in the 70s, and we could be nearing 80s by this time next week. ABC 3340 News at 6 will return in just a moment.
And that's all our time for the news at 6. We are back for ABC 3340 News at 10. Have a great evening.